You have to say these 3 words in secret to completely transform reality. And it all starts with a simple, I already am. And you shouldn't wait, but believe it, because we live in a reality where we have to believe in order to see. But when you say I am, your neural matrix aligns with reality. And it's not based on naive faith, but on vibrational resonance. The cosmos, Grinberg says, doesn't react, not to what you intend, but to what you manifest yourself to be. If this way of seeing reality is stirring something inside you, a spark, a discomfort, a resonance, then I invite you to subscribe right now. Not to follow me, but so you don't miss the opportunity to keep going deeper into yourself. We don't teach dogmas here. Here we remember what your soul already knows, but your mind had forgotten. This is the karmic enigma that Jacobo Grinberg unveiled with ancestral teachers at the precise meeting point between neurophysiology and expanded consciousness. When you come to understand that the essential architecture of the world is interwoven information, everything changes. The individual chronicles, sensations, ideas, and convictions are constantly projected onto the energetic network that sustains the universe. Every statement that is vocalized, every internal representation that is maintained, every sensation that is held with strength leaves a vibrational imprint. And those marks are captured by the network, which neither judges nor discriminates, it merely responds. Most people exist as if they were the effect of the world. They feel dragged along by events, by external circumstances, by the family script. However, the genuine act of freedom happens when one realizes that they can reverse that dynamic, that they can, from their inner world, create the conditions of the external environment. I already am is a statement that encapsulates the break with passive programming. It is a proclamation of vibrational sovereignty. And when that proclamation is made from emotion, from intimate conviction, the karmic network begins its reconfiguration. During his years of study, Jacobo Grinberg came to the conclusion that consciousness does not reside within the body. The body, in fact, is contained within consciousness. This assertion, which may seem abstract at first, carries profound implications. If consciousness is the substrate, the space where everything happens, then everything is subject to its shaping. The 3 words I already am do not constitute a trivial affirmation. They are a direct instruction to the field of consciousness to begin collapsing the infinite alternatives into a single timeline, the one in which what is declared has already materialized. There is no need to wait. That is one of the greatest fallacies of the conditioned mind. It always pushes into the future what it desires. And in that constant projection, it perpetuates lack. I already am. Interrupt that logic. Subvert it. It implants a plan, a turning point in the sequence of cause and effect, not because it denies the law of causality, but because it operates with a deeper cause, the cause of the vibratory field. And within his studies, Jacobo Grinberg clearly remembers a retreat he led in the majestic Sierra Madre with a select group of explorers. They worked for 5 days in complete silence, holding to a single declaration. I'm already conscious, pure science. A woman recounted having a dream where she floated above her childhood and understood the reason why she had repeated certain patterns of pain. Another participant broke down in tears when he declared that for the first time in his life he felt complete. No one provided them with external answers. No one taught them a doctrine. They simply held a frequency. And that frequency unlocked inner doors that seemed sealed for decades. That's why Grinberg reiterates this truth. We must not underestimate the potential of an authentic statement. You shouldn't repeat the words as if they were a spell, empty of meaning. You have to speak them from the center. Let every cell, every thought, every memory be infused with the vibration of Yo-Yo Soy. It is recommended to be honest. You shouldn't proclaim Yo Soy Amor if you feel unworthy inside. It's as if the universe says, "Excuse me, I just received a vibration of panic and low self-esteem, not of love. Could you be coherent with your bandwidth, please?" First, you have to release the contradiction, then declare, and then feel. Consciousness is the most refined device in the cosmos. Everything that is perceived happens through it, but in addition, it is the architect of what will be perceived. That is the paradox, and that's where the power lies. You have the power to consciously choose which reality you are going to sustain. I Already Am places you right at that decision point. It makes you responsible for the vibration and therefore for the kind of experiences you will attract. And Jacobo Grinberg has witnessed how individuals have changed in weeks what they had not managed to change in years of therapy. And not because therapy is ineffective, but because there is a threshold where the transition has to be vibrational. Not linear, not gradual, but a quantum leap of identity. And that leap only happens when you stop waiting for results and start assuming that you are already in the solution. The solution is not outside, it's not in some tomorrow. It's in the field right now, latent, waiting to be claimed. When Jacobo Grinberg began studying the correlation between the neural field and perception, he understood that everything we experience is nothing more than a sustained interpretation, an interpretation that was learned, often imposed, but that also has the ability to be modified. What is designated as reality is not static, it is malleable. It adjusts to states of consciousness. That is why, by declaring I already am, what you do is interrupt the interpretive inertia that has been inherited and open up a new vision. That channel is not found outside oneself. It has always been there. But it requires a different internal disposition for what Grinberg calls vibrational alignment. It's not an esoteric adjective, it's a perfect synchrony between what is thought, what is felt, and what is sensed. It happens when those three dimensions converge in a single frequency. The field reacts, it always reacts. The obstacle lies in the fact that almost no one maintains that coherence for a sufficient amount of time. They change their convictions, contradict themselves, let themselves be influenced by other people's opinions, by the noise around them. Jacobo Grinberg recalls an experiment he conducted with a group of experienced meditators. For 14 days, they silently repeated the phrase, I already am absolute connection. The initial sessions were confusing, some felt nothing, others became frustrated, but around the 10th day, something began to change. One participant shared, "Today I felt like my body had disappeared. I was just a light breathing inside an even greater light." That is resonance. It doesn't need to be understood. It needs to be allowed. And allowing means letting go of the need for control. What keeps you furthest from the karmic secret is the constant urge to control the outcomes. People are obsessed with the how and the when, but the field doesn't respond to anxiety. It responds to certainty. And certainty is not arrogance, it's a deep intimacy with creative ability. When it's expressed, I already am, and when it's truly assumed, you're not waiting for confirmations, you're expressing gratitude in advance. That anticipated gratitude is the bridge that connects the invisible and the visible. The ancestral teachers that Jacobo Grinberg worked with didn't debate manifestation, they exemplified it. They didn't beg the cosmos, they evoked it, they embodied it, because they understood that the universe does not respond to pleas born from lack, but to declarations that arise from a full sense of identity. You don't get what you want, you get what you are, and what you are is determined by the frequency you maintain most consistently. For that reason, this practice cannot be occasional. You have to avoid just declaring it. You need to breathe it, walk with it, sleep with it, tattoo it into your energy field. Only in this way does the karmic pattern begin to dissolve, to break down, to reorganize itself. And here, a subtle but crucial detail is revealed. Karma is not a punishment. It's information that repeats itself. That's all. Emotional, mental, and energetic information that gets recycled because it hasn't been observed from a higher level of consciousness. When the affirmation "I already am" is integrated into the field, an unmistakable signal is being sent to karma. I am no longer the one who repeats. Now I am the one who chooses. I am no longer the echo of the past. Now I am the creative voice of the present. But for this to be activated, you must be willing to let go of a part of yourself, the part that identifies with the role of the victim, with the struggle, with effort as the only way. Because this practice is not based on exhausting effort, but on harmonious alignment. And sometimes that can be painful, because giving up the character you've held onto for decades, even if it's filled with suffering, creates fear. We've gotten used to that narrative, we've taken it as our own, but you are not your story. You are the consciousness that has the power to rewrite it. Therefore, when you say "I already am," you're not inventing something new, you're remembering. The practice of "I already am" requires a trained mind that's able to maintain that inner coherence despite the external noise. You need to anchor yourself in presence. Neuroplasticity allows you to rewrite those old stories, but to do it deeply, you need tools of silence and wisdom. That's why I want to introduce you to Audible. It's not just an audiobook platform, it's your mental training library, your sound sanctuary. Audible gives you access to thousands of texts on deep meditation, ancient wisdom, and Stoic discipline, which will give you the mental armor to sustain the vibration of "I already am." In the critical moment where fear wants to take control, don't let inertia pull you back to the density of your old self. Start today with a free 30-day trial. Use the link in the description to get your mental armor with Audible and ensure the continuity of your vibrational practice. That frequency doesn't need proof. You feel it, you recognize it, it settles in, and then you begin to act from the certainty of it already is, not from the hope of someday it will be. And look at this example. A woman who attended one of his gatherings arrived at the beginning. Don't hold on to the hope of someday it will be. And look at this example. A woman who attended one of his gatherings reached the limit of despair. Grinberg asked her to spend 21 days softly repeating it every night before falling asleep. "I am already total harmony and nothing else." He explained to her, "You are not affirming what you perceive. You are affirming what you will begin to perceive if you persistently hold on to it." On the 17th day, the woman sent him a message. "Not everything has changed on the outside, but inside me, there is no longer a storm. It's as if I have finally found my home." That's what happens when the field starts to react. First, the internal vibration transforms, and then the external world aligns. Every idea that is held intensely is a seed. Every emotion that is accepted without question has a root. Every word that is repeated is a decree. So you are urged to ask. What is being planted in the field day after day? The karmic secret is not hidden because it has been concealed. It's a secret because most people ignore it, even when it's right in front of their eyes. Tell me how many times you have said, "I am useless, I am poor, I am weak," without realizing that you've turned those words into your own prison. And the worst part is, the key was always in your mouth, in the word, in the vibration. "I already am" is not an empty phrase, it's a sacred password. It's the access code to the most expanded version of yourself, but it must be honored. It's not useful to repeat it mechanically. It must be filled with intention, honesty, coherence, and above all, commitment. This isn't idealized mysticism, it's practical neurophysiology. Jacobo Grinberg's research shows that mirror neurons respond to self-definition with tangible changes in brain chemistry. He says that if you tell him what's being whispered, he'll tell you which synaptic structure is being strengthened. If you tell him what is silently affirmed when no one is watching, he'll tell you what future is being built. Therefore, if you really want to transform karma, You shouldn't start with the external. You should start here, now, in this very moment. Observe how you address yourself. Is it from scarcity, complaint, expectation, or from gratitude, certainty, presence? Only you can answer. Only you can choose. Once, a woman confided to him that she felt ridiculous repeating these positive affirmations. Grinberg asked her if she felt ridiculous when she repeated in her mind that she was not enough, or that she always failed. She fell silent. It's curious. The ego doesn't want you to declare your greatness because it threatens the old and comfortable prison it built, and a maxim that wise grandparents used to share comes to mind. The universe always listens, but it doesn't respond to words. It responds to vibration. So the goal is not to convince the cosmos, it's to become the frequency that already possesses what you long for. And that starts with a simple yet radical decision. Declare yourself from the state of already being it, not from lack but from fullness. If you have stayed with me throughout this deep immersion, it's because your inner observer is activated and ready to claim its sovereignty. I congratulate you on your progress. I want you to seal your identity leap with a statement of intention to the synergic field. Now post the phrase in the comments. Using your new identity, I am already conscious freedom. Your statement in the field is a creative decree. Reality is not a point you reach, but a web that is woven. Every idea, every emotion sustained over time is a thread. The brain does not operate as a mere passive receiver. It is a projector. Grinberg called it the light matrix, not as a poetic figure, but as the most precise description of what began to diminish. That network that supports everything we call reality was not made of matter, but of light, of vibrational patterns that, organized by consciousness, became form, time, and space. The inner observer is that point of stillness that remains unchanged. He is the one who, through sustained attention, shapes the field. There is no object without an observer, and consciousness is the flashlight, which defines what is seen by illuminating it, but it needs focus. But that focus is not simply attention. It is a vibrational state where the whole being is oriented toward the same frequency. In other words, real transformation happens when thought, emotion, breath, body, and inner silence vibrate in the same direction. And that direction is the state of I already am, lived from wholeness. This is precisely what most people don't perceive when they repeat these affirmations. If someone says, I am already healthy, but does so with a tense body, held breath, a doubtful heart, and scattered thoughts, that affirmation doesn't take root. It can't take hold. It can't modify the field because its frequency is not coherent. But if you say it with a present mind, an open chest, available emotion, and an aligned body, then a stable vibrational structure has been created. And every stable structure is capable of attracting compatible realities. Neuroscience has shown that sustained emotional states have direct effects on the immune system, thought patterns, brain chemistry, and even on genetic expression. Epigenetics. It's not poetry, it's biology. A thought charged with coherent positive emotion triggers the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin, which in turn create a sustained feeling of well-being. This state allows the nervous system to enter repair and expansion modes. And when that happens, the decisions we make, the actions we take, and the way we connect with others begin to change without needing to force the change. That's why when you say, I am already whole, you're not just repeating a nice phrase. You're starting a bioenergetic process that affects every level of your being. But that phrase can't work unless it's turned into a bodily experience, unless you feel it as a truth that goes beyond language. It's not the affirmation itself that creates transformation. It's the way that affirmation resonates in the nervous system and in the energy field. The field, as is well known, is a fabric of information in constant motion. It responds to language, but above all, it responds to coherence, to frequency, to consistency. You can say something 1,000 times without changing anything, or say it just once with such truth that reality bends. The difference lies in the vibration, and that vibration is not produced only with intention. It is produced with alignment. The affirmation doesn't need to be constant, but coherent. It's not the number of repetitions that matters, but the quality of presence in each repetition. You can repeat an affirmation 50 times a day without results if you do it automatically, but saying it just once with your body, emotion, and awareness aligned can trigger an irreversible change. Additionally, Jacobo Grinberg discovered that affirmations stated in the first person, present tense, and in a positive form have a much greater impact on the field. I already am is the most powerful structure because it combines identity, present time, and certainty. You are not wishing, you are not waiting, you are affirming from your being. And that affirmation, when it is true, activates the vibrational code of the identity you want to embody. Science has not yet fully understood how language modulates the field, but it is beginning to accept it. Some studies in quantum physics, epigenetics, and neuroplasticity suggest that the observer modifies the phenomenon being observed. What one thinks and feels affects not only how one sees the world, but also how the world responds to them, not by magic, but by resonance. If you emit frequencies of trust, openness, and gratitude, life reorganizes itself to return compatible experiences. If you emit fear, judgment, or lack, that will be the quality of your relationships and circumstances. That's why repeating "I already am freedom" is not an act of self-deception. It's a vibrational declaration that truly holds. It reprograms your perceptual filters and changes how you interact with reality, because you see what you are prepared to see. You attract what you are available to sustain, and the affirmation prepares, readies, and trains you. And remember that the field responds not to isolated words, but to the overall frequency. You can say "I already am love," but if you carry resentment in your chest, that affirmation won't have enough resonance. Not because it's false, but because there's noise in the signal. So what shouldn't you affirm? That's why it's necessary to clean, make space, breathe, let go of what doesn't resonate with the new identity. You can't install a new vibration on old structures without creating internal conflict. The field can't be fooled. It doesn't respond to attempts, it responds to the truth. In summary, the science behind magical simplicity is not in the mystery. It's in coherence, in consistency, in deep willingness, in inhabiting the new version of yourself that you affirm yourself to be. Not from expectation, but from total surrender to a vibrational possibility that already exists in the field, waiting to be anchored by presence. And that presence, when it is constant, turns into transformation, not by miracle, but by law. Because the entire universe is built on patterns of resonance, and by affirming "I already am," you are choosing which of those patterns you are going to embody. There is no greater power than that. There is no greater science than that. Because the science of the spirit is above all the science of lived truth. This also means that negative, repetitive thoughts, filled with judgment or fear, are also integrated into the network. But there's no need to be afraid. The network doesn't judge, it doesn't reward or punish. It only replicates what it receives. That's why, if you maintain a low vibration for a long time, you're not only affecting your own life, you're also helping to nourish a collective frequency that others also feed on. And the same thing happens with light. If you choose to hold on to joy even in the midst of uncertainty, you're lighting paths that others don't even know exist. And one day, without understanding how, they'll reach a point where they breathe deeper, smile for no reason, or make a brave decision. And all of that will be, in part, thanks to that work. Jacobo Grinberg has learned to see us as living nodes within a great network. Each one of us has a place, a unique vibration, a one-of-a-kind frequency. And when that frequency is fully expressed, the whole network comes into harmony. But when we repress who we are, when we let fear or insecurity disconnect us, it's as if one of those nodes temporarily shuts down. And even though the rest of the network keeps functioning, there's a part of its potential that remains in the shadows. That's why authenticity is not a luxury. It's a necessity for everyone's balance. In this network, you don't need to speak the same language as others. You don't need to have the same history or the same beliefs. Vibration is universal. Coherence, kindness,
Coherencia, la bondad,
beauty, gratitude. All these states are understood by the network without the need for translation. They are languages of the soul that cross borders, religions, generations. When someone lives in gratitude, it doesn't matter if they express it in Spanish, in Hebrew, in Nahuatl, or in silence, the network receives it, replicates it, and expands it. That's why it said we shouldn't underestimate the power of what we feel. We shouldn't think that just because something happens only inside us, it isn't important. The invisible is more powerful than the visible. What is subtle is more formative than what is dense. And this network, though invisible to the eye, is the very architecture of shared reality. Every noble thought, every silent act of compassion, every moment of authentic presence is building a world that you may not see in this life, but that is already in the making, thanks to you. Today you have taken the first step, the declaration. But mastery requires consistency. For that quantum navigation to be stable, you need to anchor yourself in daily practice and understand how the individual neural field connects with the collective. I'm not suggesting that you watch another video. I'm guiding you toward the natural continuation of your path to shape the matrix of reality. Click on the video on your screen right now. It's the next lesson so that your I am resonates with the power of thousands. Click and I'll see you at the next revelation.